What is up, guys? And we are going to do Abrahamic religions versus paganism. So now, with Islam, Christianity and Judaism all being from the same founder, yet all have such criticisms of each other and even within themselves split into many sects: Orthodox Catholicism, Mormonism, Jehovah, Protestant, just proves people just make up religions to suit them. But ironically enough, the Abrahamic faiths all bash pagan influence in their holy books. Yet Christianity is entirely pagan, that Jesus probably wouldn't even recognize his own religion. What has the Vatican got to do with the Bible? Who said there were popes and priests? And most importantly, who said there was a sequel in the New Testament? If Jesus came back alive today, I think his first question would be, when the hell was his birthday? Because in order for a new religion to thrive, it first has to get approval from the local tribes, who are usually pagan first, to prevent a culture clash which can lead to war. So it is no wonder the new Christian arrivees in Europe tolerated so much warped up versions of their faith they had to in order to sell it. However, Muhammad saw this coming and therefore referred to the Christians as corrupted, not the religion but the followers. Also the Jews, who then ran to the Kabbalah instead of Torah. That's why Islam is less divided from an organized view, because there is a huge difference between Catholic and Protestant. However, with Sunni and Shia Islam, the only difference is who was Muhammad's successor, and as the author of the Quran after Muhammad died, he was a successor, and there's two branches, but still the same religion, unlike Christianity, where the sects are so subdivided into different genres. But Sunni and Shia is the same religion, that just have that rhetorical question, but still the same thing, if that makes sense. Which military roles? So Muhammad is author of the Quran, which such military roles are outdated, as there's no longer any official Islamic armies, only fundamental terrorists who use Wahhabi, a third role, which is just a fundamentalist of the faith, but not a direct fraction of the faith, claiming all to be the same faith, while rejecting the many other fractions. But religion as a whole is pagan. It's just paganism is more cultural, ritualistic, and taken less seriously. While the Abrahams still have the rule of law in some countries. However, with that said, paganism still influences law, like India's strange affection for cows, and you'd be jailed if you ate beef. However, it's not as intrusive as Sharia or a country dedicated to existing because of a book, and some elements ruled by it. But back to Christianity, it probably is the most pagan out of the Abrahamic ones. In fact, Jesus, the Son of God's birthday coincidentally falls into the winter solstice, the rebirth of the sun god Nimrod and Saturn, and the fact that people dress a tree up during this time, and the fact that people dress up a tree during this time is not a Christian belief, it is a European belief, so European pagan belief. And it even says in the Bible itself, there are a people out there who will cut down trees and dress it in silver and gold, but don't hate these people, as they do no harm, neither no good. Basically calling them simpletons. So why on earth do people decorate a Christmas tree on a season in which Jesus wouldn't have been born at? If we look at the scriptures and study the Nativity, it mentions how shepherds were out with their flock, which wouldn't have been in the freezing month of December. Now, although it was in a desert in Palestine, deserts get extremely cold at night time because there's nothing to hold the heat in. So deserts extremely hot in the morning, extremely cold in the night. In fact, even surpassing the Arctic at night time. So deserts, harsh environments. And Mary and Joseph went to register themselves at the time of the census. But most censuses taken under the Roman Empire were done, which Judea was a province of, were done in September, not in December. Jesus was most likely born in the end of September, which is similar to my birthday. If Christians can't influence a holiday, they then try to culturally take over it, and although some form of paganism may seem harmless, like the celebration of Halloween, without Abrahamic influence, although the churches again have tried to ban this practice, we still see Christians bash paganism. But I'm giving Christians too much slack here. Over to the Muslims, in which they kiss the black stone and encircle the Kaaba, an Arabic cultural thing that predates Islam. But now Islam, and how Jews can light candles freely, yet we criticize people who practice voodoo as crazy cultists. So what I'm saying is, Christians decorate a tree, Jews light candles, Muslims kiss a black stone in Mecca, but yet we criticize paganism as being these creepy voodoo people that need witch hunt trials, which is ironic. Then people will say, but voodoo is bad, evil, and anything outside organized religion is a cult or witchcraft. When in reality, like I said before, Christians dress up a tree, have holy water, which is just normal water, and Muslims pray towards the cube. Now, since I mentioned voodoo, unfortunately Hollywood have successfully branded a superstition loony culture. However, look at the history of voodoo. Look at the history of voodoo, and you can see why it gets. Voodoo was the new world. Voodoo was to the New World via West Africa and Togo. It was brought to the New World by African slaves, and Africans were Creole slaves to their French masters who were white, so you could see why voodoo gets the reputation it gets. And although there is some form of dark mysticism in the religion, same can be said for Satanists out of Christianity and Kabbalists from Judaism and Wahhabists from Islam and Kala Jadoo in Hinduism. And just because something is evil in your religion while another religion embraces it, doesn't make the culture evil. It's just that they see things differently. That's all. Because when Catholics saw their slaves worshipping snakes, skeletons, and having a thing called Day of the Dead back in the Americas, it's no wonder the confusion of oh, these people must be evil, because in my religion, snakes tempted Eve to do bad things, and skeletons are death, and death is to be mourned, not celebrated. However, I do respect the Muslims for not needing a marble god, candles, incense to worship, because then religion itself becomes classist, and only the rich could afford these things back in the ancient days. Heck, even now, a pagan religion like Hinduism is classist. What happened if I'm homeless and can't afford to have an entire golden room dedicated to Vishnu? Because paganism in itself is enrichment of a culture, and cultures can only be enriched after stability. First, as the hunter-gatherers didn't have time to be worshipping gods, which proves as a whole we were atheists before religious. And religious in itself is classist, which was probably the reason for Soviet hostility. But either way, war, whether it's Thor, Zeus, Allah, these create cultures and traditions amongst groups of people and make civilizations more interesting. So I'm not being negative towards the act of worship of a deity. It's a beautiful thing. Probably the most beautiful thing you can do. How boring would Athens and Mecca and Togo be without the mythology which created it? So make your own conclusions there. So anyways, may the Holy Spirit be with you. Peace out.